everybody. It's April 18th, 2012. It's another Wednesday, which means it's another edition of the Weekly Pulse. It's me, Dan, here in the basement, super secret basement of Forbidden Planet. A lot of books out this week, some Marvel, DC event stuff happening, and we've got some Dark Horse, some Image, a couple other things. Let's start right away, though, with Avengers vs. X-Men Round 2. It's good. I actually think it's a lot better than the first issue because there's a lot more action, a lot more emotion, some really great classic sort of 70s, 80s style storytelling, narration. I mean, if you get over the fact that you would think someone would be reasonable and say, let's not fight, this is really good. Like, that's really the only gripe you can come up with. Otherwise, I love it. Let me know how you feel about it. Let me know if you're going to be reading the whole thing. I'm definitely just going to read, I think, this one, unless someone tells me otherwise, because 12 issues, it's a lot, but I think it's probably the amount you need for that. DC, they're doing their own event. Night of the Owls, which, unlike that, where Marvel's got just like one thing that's 12 issues straight through, and you don't necessarily need to read all of the other titles, this is one where I think you kind of have to read most of them. But what's okay about that and why it works is that when you get to the end of this issue, you see this very simple way that Scott Snyder has come up with an excuse to say, let's put all the other books, the other Bat book stories on hold, and have them all come in and work with Batman on this particular Court of Owls thing. It works well, the art continues. Listen, you already know it. Scott Snyder's the master right now. It's really good, and it's not the only part of Night of Owls that came out this week. Nightwing also came out number 8. This is also, I think, going to be like 2 issues. It's like 8 and 9 for Nightwing. And this one is also nice and personal because you find out about the past of Dick's family and how they're involved with the Court of Owls and how they relate to these assassins called the Talon. Anyway, it's great. Again, a lot of action, a lot of fun. I think I'm reading like 6 of these 9 titles. I might try to read them all. Let me know if, how many of those you're still reading and how excited you are. I'm pretty stoked. Let's switch over to Image real quick, and then we'll have a couple number 1s. But this is the Manhattan Project's number 2. And Image is smart in the way that Dark Horse has also been smart lately, is that you could pick up right here, but in case you were wondering, the Manhattan Project is basically... you remember the Manhattan Project, where we created the atom bomb in order to end World War II? Well, this sort of presupposes that there was a lot more going on, that there were Manhattan Projects. And the first issue was more about the American side. This one deals more with the sort of German equivalent and how these two different groups of scientists could ultimately relate to one another. And it's really great. It's dark. It's weird. The art is very provoking. It's one of my favorites right now. It's a Hickman book, so surprise, it's awesome. So if you haven't, I mean, the number 1 is on shelves right now, so I would pick up both if you haven't, because the first is all about Oppenheimer, and it's really creepy. This one is a little more about the German side and some things that Hitler was up to. But this is awesome, like really, really, really good. And then Dark Horse had a couple of things. The one number 2 that came out that I was really excited for was Ragemore. Number 2, I think I gushed about the number 1 on this. It's basically same deal. If you didn't read the number 1, that's okay. But we have a couple of copies of number 1, so if you come in, I would just buy both if I were you. But it's basically that there's this castle, Ragemore, and it wasn't built so much as it just kind of grew out of the ground, and it's this horrible, hellish nightmare land. And this is just another crazy story about how the castle functions and drives anyone insane who lives or even comes to visit there for more than a minute. It's got some great Corbin art. Man, it's a great horror book. There aren't really a lot of truly great horror books out right now for my money, but this might be the number 1. And then Dark Horse is doing this new line called Dark Horse Originals. So they had Matt Kinn do... he did a story called 3 Story before, and this is sort of like just a couple more short stories in it. Secret Files of the Giant Man, and I really love his art style. And basically he sits down and sort of weaves a couple different tales where the Giant Man goes to different parts of the world and how regular, ordinary people relate to him. And it's just very affecting. And meanwhile, as much as I like this, and it's very good, when you get to the end, there's this sort of a couple-page preview of another story that he's doing called Mind Management that is really exciting. It's about this plane full of people that all kind of lose all memory of who they are, and how like one person from the plane just was on the manifest no longer exists. It's like they were never there. And this author who decides that she's going to investigate 2 years later and figure out what happened. It seems really cool. I'm really stoked to check it out. There's a couple things that are going to be coming out in Dark Horse Originals, but that's definitely like the one that after this couple of pages really jumped at me. It's coming out in May. The other Dark Horse Original that came out is Reset #1, which is a Peter Bagge book. And if you've never read Peter Bagge before, I would recommend that you read as much as possible. This one sort of, it's this failed comedian guy. You know, he maybe had a little bit of an acting career at one point, but he's had a lot of bad luck, fell on some hard times, had some things happen in the public eye, so he's all over the tabloids, and he gets offered this opportunity to be part of this sort of psychological study where he can reset his life in like a virtual world and start over from right when he graduated high school. And it's how he reacts to it, how the people who are conducting this experiment react to him, and it's got this very sort of quirky Peter Bagge style humor, and it's got his art, and I don't know, man, it's funny but also poignant in a way that I really dig. So if you never read Peter Bagge before, you could always jump right here, and if you like Peter Bagge, then this is sort of a no-brainer. Wrapping up, almost wrapping up 2 more Dark Horse, please, it's going to be a long video. Resident Alien, this is a #0. Just to sum it up, this is a really simple book. There's an alien. People can't really tell that he's an alien. I guess he's got some kind of psychic ability, and he is forced to start living amongst man, and he's like helping with murders. He's going to be a doctor to some people. It's kind of a simple concept, but I like how it's been executed so far. I feel like this alien character is very relatable. I kind of get him, so I like that one. That might be a fun one just to give a quick shot to. Take a couple looks, look at the first couple pages, see what you think. And then I want to remind you that there's a Dark Horse Presents, and that author of the White Suits is going to be in the store today. He actually may be here and gone by the time you see this video. He's doing a lunch date where he's talking about his story. He's going to be doing a signing. His artist is going to be out. I just want to see if I can find the... Oh, of course, it's all the way at the end. This art is just really, really good. Fun stuff. But Dark Horse Presents has been really solid. I feel like I've talked this to death, but definitely come out if you happen to catch this video. It was a really great story. Switching it up. Our own manager, Matt D, has put out a zine. Zines have been coming back, indie comics, for all of you that are aware, very popular. And he's put out his first one, which is Blood Video, issue #1. It's a nice focus on VHS, classic horror. So if you're into that stuff, this is like a no-brainer. But it's $5. Man, look what it comes with. Dinosaurs Attack! Trading cards. Like, these are total classic old things. Like, straight up comes with like a stick of gum. I wouldn't recommend eating the gum, but it's pretty cool. Some pins for his website, Horror Boobs, which is a Tumblr site I highly recommend you check out if you like horror and boobs together. This is just like super fun, a fun little zine. Hey, so we got some stuff in the mail that we were not expecting. Now maybe you heard that Shia LaBeouf, I don't know how to say it. I feel like everybody says that name. The Beef, you know, the Beefster. He was at a con recently and was pushing some books. And he actually was kind enough to send these 2 books to us, and he signed a bunch of them. And I said, you know what? He is a star of such films as Transformers. I'm going to sit down and read these. I have to confess. So basically, alright, so this one we had to cover up the title, but it's Let's Party. And this one seems kind of like just a series of individual people and their thoughts. A little bit, kind of like a bit of poetry here and there rather than a straight story, whereas this one, this cyclical book, is more of a straight narrative. Now, he wrote and drew all of this stuff. I confess, Shia, if you're watching this, that I'm not really sure. I don't know what your background is in comics. I don't know if this is something you're trying to do, how you want to use the format, because these are very different, and I don't know if I would classify either of them as things that I enjoyed, per se, but it made me curious about you, so, you know, you should, I mean, if you're watching, you should get in touch with me. I'm at Forbidden Planet. You set the stuff to us, and I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on comics and what you're trying to do in the medium. And I would recommend that anybody who is interested in Shia LaBeouf, or, you know, if you like the Beefster, he made some comics. You should at least take a peek. And I think it's just interesting. They're weird in a way that I haven't seen before. Graphic novel front, Harvey P. Carr, Cleveland. A little bit of a posthumous one of these last things that he did. I really feel like I don't need to say anything about it because it's Harvey P. Carr. So, in case you didn't know, it's out right now. So please come and buy it. Don't be a fool. But something you might not know about, there's something called No Brow Press, and they usually get a lot of different artists from like all over the world, a lot of like Brazilian, South American kind of dudes. This is a little more of a straightforward story. What's the title? Hilda and the Midnight Giant. I read this, like, it was the first thing I read when I got in, because it just really struck me. I really liked the cover and the art inside. What's really striking about this is that it's this beautiful blend of, on one end, it's just like a kid's story. Like, you could read this to your kid and they would like it because it's a girl, and there's like little people that live around her house, and then there's a big giant, and just, you know, like stuff that kids like. But then underneath that, there's this very mature story that analyzes where we're coming from as human beings, where we're headed, the nature of being alive and existence, and I don't know, man, it's just like really heady philosophical stuff done in a very adept way that a kid could maybe even grasp, but that adults could really, really appreciate. I loved it. This is like super, super, super great. It's $24, but worth every penny if you're looking for something that's a little off the beaten path. And before we go, two things. One, we've got an event coming up in the store next week. It's a documentary about rock and roll comics, which is a bunch of comics that came out under Revolutionary Comics. And it weaves this really great story, this great history about the man who created this particular series of comics, and all the First Amendment rights that showed up. And he did, I mean, like, these are the originals. You can actually come in and buy some of the original writers and artists are going to be in, so you get some stuff signed. I watched the documentary. I got a preview look, and it's great. So come to the signing. That's going to be next Wednesday, and then come to the screening if you can. I really love the documentary, and the comics are really interesting and fun part of comics history. And then to finish up, I want to remind everybody that that the man behind the camera right now, Morgan Pielli, who is a comics creator in his own right, is going to be at Space this weekend. We're going to see the details just below. Make sure you come out, say hello to him, and, you know, be like, I heard you work with Dan Roth. That guy seems great. Oh, you have comics? I guess I'll buy one. Tell Dan I said hi. That's it. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next week. And until then, remember, like, subscribe, comment below. Thank you for watching, as always, and keep reading. Bye, everybody. Bye.